YouTube, we are back again with another one. Today we have a high taper for you guys. This one's crispy, man. Didn't have too much time to do it, but it turned out very crispy. So we're gonna always start by debulking, and this is a number 2, I believe. And you can see how we were just kind of shaping his head right here. Trying to keep some of this weight here, just to contour his head a little more. And I'm just flicking out at that right there. And then we're just gonna blend that together with thinning shears. But you guys can see how I'm very light with the clipper. The way I flick out is just very, very light. And now we are going to be setting in our ball line with our trimmers. Very soft. You can see I'm kind of exaggerating the flick out motion. I don't want to set any hard lines. No hard lines makes everything easier to get out. And so once we finish cleaning up this area, we are going to hit it with the shaver. And now we are going to come in with the shaver, guys, being very light, just making sure we're flicking out. Not trying to put, any hard lines in or anything. And he's got a very difficult hair texture. It doesn't really look like it in the back. His hair is a lot more dense in the back. But once we get to the side taper, you guys are going to be able to see how spotty his hair is. So now we're going to start with the lever all the way open. We're going to be creating our first initial guideline. About an inch, a little more than an inch wide. We kind of want this to be a little more stretched. That way, when we look at it from the side, it looks like both back and front tapers are even. And now we are halfway within the section, and we are just blending down. And now we are fully closed, guys, and we are flicking out that bottom line, that very last line. I like to get through my steps, kind of as quick as I can, and then we'll go back and refine things, guys. Like I always say, I am still in the shop, so we are on a time limit. But right now we're kind of just detailing this section out, and then we will move on to the next section. And you guys can see how I have the comb in my hand. You always want to keep either a comb or brush. It really just depends, It's on you, it's personal preference. Just to kind of always comb the hairs back into place or comb any hairs out of place. And next, guys, we will get into the one guard open, and we are going to be creating our second section. Same width as the open lever. And we are just flicking, guys. Not really trying to create another section. We're kind of trying to blend this into the top right here. Obviously, we have that bottom section we're going to have to take out with the half guard, but we were just trying to connect that. And now, guys, we will be switching over to the half guard, and we will be going open to close, just like we did with the first initial section. And we're just blending down, and we're going open, halfway, close, like we always do. And you can see, again, I'm being very light in this section, just because you don't want to stretch the blend too much and end up making another line, and then you have to keep going up and up and up. And now we are, I think we're halfway. Yeah, we're halfway right now into the section, and now we are fully closed. We are just using the corners, just detailing this section out. This section won't take too much effort, just because the lighter you are, the easier everything is. So we were pretty light with it with the 1, so this should blend out pretty easy. And you guys can see we're just doing some detail work until we move on to the next section, opening and closing. It's a lot of lever play, guys. And then we will get right into the next guard, which will be the 1.5, and this is going to connect everything together. This is what's going to lighten up this dark area. And guys, the biggest thing for me is when you're creating these sections, you always want to start on the same side that you did all the other sections. So you can see I'm going right to left. It's not, it's not that much of a difference. It's not really that super important, but I just feel like You want to keep yourself in a routine, and once you keep yourself in that routine, your blends, you won't get lost. You know where you're at. Your blends just come out a lot better. And we're just open to close with this 1.5 guard. Just making sure we're flicking out right at that bulk. And then want to take the section too high, and then we will come back with the 1 guard, and that will be our last guard that we're going to use for this section. And right now, guys, we're just kind of refining, making sure there's no lines from that 1.5 guard. Just trying to connect everything together. And this will be a lot of lever play, guys, a lot of corners. And these are the original ergos. I switch clippers all the time. I don't really have a favorite clipper at the moment. Really looking into trying to get the Cocos. Just haven't done too much research. But we're just right now lever playing, like I said. Make sure we're getting out all these dark spots. You guys can see this back taper is already popping without the lineup, without any thinning shears. Always keeping that comb in our hand, making sure we're combing the hair back down. And then now, guys, you guys can see, look at his hair right there. Look at that taper. That is some spotty hair. You guys can see it's a lot more, it's a lot less dense on this side of the hair than it is on the back of the head. And what we're doing right now, guys, is whenever I'm clipper over combing into I guess you can say an Edgar type of haircut, or heavier weight, I like to put the 1 on just for like a safety net, just to ensure that we don't take that area too low and it's too light there. We want to keep that dark around the ear, just so that taper will pop. And we're just taking our time with this, just connecting all this, making sure the taper is going to flow easy. You guys can see how that is just it's all blended right there behind that. It's not too light, and right now we're just kind of I see in a little spot right here, so we're just gonna go back and attack that spot right here using our corners. You guys can see how I'm turning the clipper this way because his hair is growing backwards, as you can see right there. You always want to cut the way the hair is growing, so that is what we're doing right here. You guys can see it came out blurry. And then now to get into this side taper, want to make sure we are combing everything into place. And then we will set our initial guideline, which will be our clipper close. I know on the back we did the trimmer, but now we're going to do the clipper just because, like I said, it's so spotty. So I want to make sure that I'm not taking this blend too high. So I'm just being very cautious going in with my clipper close, and we are seeing how short that's going to take this. And then now we're just going to follow it up with the trimmer. And then lastly, we will follow it up with the shaver. And then to start this side taper, we are going to be fading down. And the reason for that is because we want to keep this taper as gradient as possible without stretching it, right? So this is the 2, and we are just flicking out at that bulk right there. And you guys can see right here that when we did this 2, that bottom section, that's already super light. You know what I mean? You can see right there, that's already super light. So I went in with the higher guard just to ensure and have a safety net of I'm not taking this blend too high. And now we have the 1.5 open, and we are going to do the same thing just at a lower section. Right, so we're just using our corners. Really want to make sure you're using your corners with this type of hair. And I would call this hair more fine than thin. Just very spotty, challenging, but we love a challenge. And we're just using our corners. And then now we will switch over to the 1 open. And now we will be continuing our blend down, just flicking out, making sure I'm staying right below that 1.5. Being very light with this area, using my corners. And then we will close the clipper little by little, making sure to get any dark spots that we can see at the moment. And then guys, we will get into the half guard. Like I said, you want to get through the steps, not rush. What we're going to be doing here, guys, as quick as you can. That way you have more still time work for down, open to close. In this guard, you want to be very careful with this guard, because this guard could either make or break your blend, whether you take it too high or not, especially with this type of texture, guys. So as you can see, we're just going in with our corners, being very light, very gentle, and then we will finish this this blend with the clipper close, and then we will go back in detail. So now we are going to start close. Yes, different. I just want to ensure that I don't bring this blend too high, so I am going close to open, very little. And as you can see, I'm being very light, just using my corners, making sure I'm flicking. And then once you guys move up into the section, you guys want to make sure you are using your corners. That's going to ensure that you don't put any lines in and you're not taking the blend up too high. And then you guys can see I am just doing some shear over comb or thinning shear over comb, just to blend this section in a little more, just to make sure it's softened up and it's we don't have no heavy ridges or anything. And then we will just point cut a little, just any dark spots that we see. And I like to use the thinning shears when I point cut, just because I don't want to chunk anybody or anything with some regular shears. So I would just try using the thinning shears. It's a lot easier. You have a little more room to kind of, I guess, for error. But now we're getting into the back lineup, and you guys can see we got some hitters right here. Just being very cautious not to take this in too far, but also we don't want his neckline to be too wide, so we just lightly bring it in a little, and we are just going to be lining around his ears. And you guys can see that I'm using my finger, my right hand, to kind of pivot around the ear, and then I was using my left finger to hold down the ear. Makes everything a lot easier. And now guys, we're going to get into the lineup. We didn't spray any hairspray or anything like that. I didn't really think we needed it, so we were just going to go right into this, just lining them up. As you can see, we started in the middle, and then we will go all the way across. And guys, when you're lining people up, I know sometimes it can be uncomfortable standing right in front of them, so try standing on the side and having them turn their head. So this is what I did for him. I just had him turn his head towards me as I was on the side of the chair. Makes it a lot easier, it's a lot more comfortable. Biggest thing is being comfortable, guys. Once you're comfortable, your cuts are better, your routine is better. So just make sure you're comfortable at all times. And now we are going to finish this front lineup off by just tapping this in. You can see we're being very cautious not to bring anything up, push anything back. Then we are going to hit the bar, and as you guys can see, I'm kind of angling his lineup, not pushing it back, but I'm angling it in a little bit. That way when we look at him from the front, his lineup is straight. And what we do to one side, guys, we do to the other. Same steps apply, just lining it straight across, and then we will hit the vertical bar. I did not get the beard in this video, but you guys can see that this haircut came out pretty clean. If you guys like, make sure you subscribe, like, comment. Let me know what you guys want to see next, haircut wise, content wise. I hope you guys enjoyed. Peace out.